So yeah, not the best game for Devin Booker, Chris Paul. I mean, both of them still had some nice passes to guys in the corner and stuff like that, but they missed a lot of shots. The drop defense of the Clippers was actually pretty effective on Chris Paul. I mean, he had a good chunk of mid-range opportunities, normal thing. And Zubats had an okay contest on him on the elbow, the signature Chris Paul spot, and a good amount of them just simply did not go in. And then Devin Booker, he just whiffed on shots that we've seen him make. I mean, credit to Patrick Beverley. He stripped Booker a couple times, and it felt like the Clippers' defensive intensity really ramped up in the third quarter, where they did a really good job of fighting around screens, or at least going over a screen, so like Terrence Mann can stay on Booker's back, and then you got Reggie Jackson or whoever on the wing just kind of stunting at the free throw line just for a little bit, just to slow him down for half a second. Zubac positioning himself well in front of the rim, but not giving Ayton the lob at the same time. It was just really strong defense. It forced some turnovers. We had Terrence Mann in transition. PG's passing was great tonight. I mean, he had a number of plays to get it to open shooters. There were a lot of timely threes in the second half for the Clippers. You had that Luke Kennard baseline relocation for a three. There was the time where PG got a screen from Batum, and I think he might have rejected the screen or whatever, but it got the Suns off balance. He kicks it out to Batum, bounce pass to Morris. That's a three. Zubats was really tough tonight. I don't know how many baskets Zubats had. It didn't feel like a whole lot, but he had a lot of trips to the free throw line just from being big and playing hard pretty much. And tonight was kind of the perfect way a heavy Zubats minutes game can go, where they're not killing you on the drop coverage, part of it because the defense around the screen is good, and then he's doing things that you were not getting before, so you're not just relying on timely three-point shooting, which of course they did still get in this game. Now, Booker and CP, I mean, their passing was still good in this, but it did feel like the Suns' offense, especially starting in the third quarter, it got really flat or something. Like, usually they've got some cutting going on, and they've got, I mean, they were doing those down screens for Booker around the free throw line the previous game. It didn't feel like it was as much of a thing here. And just the overall vibe of the Suns was a little more casual. I mean, there was, of course, that one thing in the huddle where Monty Williams was just yelling at them about how the Clippers were out working them. I mean, Terrence Mann had at least one putback in the third quarter. And yeah, I would agree. And that was like the first time we've really seen the Suns look like that all postseason. I mean, I don't think they've lost a game in like a month because, up 2-0, they swept the Nuggets and they won the last whatever against the Lakers. So this was kind of the first game the Suns did not look like a well-oiled machine, and some of that was, of course, the Clippers' intensity on defense, and the Suns just missing some shots that they'll feel good about. But I don't know, there was a moment of like, what's going on right now? Why do you guys look like this? You haven't looked like this in a long time. Whether that is any cause for concern, we will find out in the next game. I guess this is a bit of a moment of truth for Phoenix. It's not a huge one. They're still up 2-1. They're very good. But just stay together right now. This would not be the right time to suddenly unravel. As far as some X's and O's adjustments, besides just hoping that CP and Booker can make some of the shots that they were getting in this one. Again, Booker, he had open pull-ups, which he was killing them with in game one. Even so, they're not allowing him to get as much of a running start anymore on those. Because, again, they're fighting around the screens better. And also Chris Paul had some mid-rangers that he was killing the Nuggets with. But besides that, I would say just more of the off-ball stuff. More of those, like, flare screens for Mikal Bridges or Jay Crowder or whatever. More of those Spain pick and rolls, down screens, whatever you want to call them. The action around the free throw line. Or just having a second screener up top. But they had at least, like, one or two plays that I remember where they did that. Could also try to get some more off-ball action for Devin Booker. Not as if it never happens, but if you need some help, or if he needs help in getting off of Patrick Beverley a little bit. I mean, I know it looked like Beverley was totally washed against Dallas, but he had a moment against the Jazz, and it seems like he's kind of all the way back now. And I mean, if Booker doesn't play well in Game 4, and Beverley has a lot of success with him again, then I feel like that's going to be a big talking point, and whether that affects emotions of this series or not, I don't know. Not to say it was all Beverly. And again, Booker missed some shots that he'll feel good about, so it could be a non-issue, but the Clippers are back in it, so good for them. And the big thing with the Clippers, I would say, is maintaining that defensive intensity that they really brought out in the third quarter. Like, can they open up the game with that? Or is it just not sustainable for 4 quarters? I don't know.